Dan, how long have we been doing the Hounds podcast?
Too long. What is it now? This is our third. Is it third year?
Yeah.
Yeah, 150 some episodes.
We're into our third year.
Yeah, into our third year.
Our first episode was on 2/22/22.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're into our third year. Does it seem like it was yesterday that we started this?
Sort of. As long as you think of yesterday as being like 10 years ago, yes. It feels. It does seem like it has gone by quick.
Yeah. Does it seem like it's just been like one episode ago that we've started?
I know what you're getting at now. Yeah, it just seems like we're just getting going. We're just getting rolling.
Yeah.
We're off to the races now.
Uh-huh. Well, if our loyal listeners to the Woodhounds podcast was curious, there wasn't an episode last week.
No.
And if a tree falls in the wood and there's no one around, does it make a noise?
Oh, there were people asking on my live stream Friday night what happened. Yeah. They thought there was issues with their streaming service, and a couple people were going to contact Spotify and ask what was going on. And yeah, it was. They noticed. They noticed.
Well, that had come up in the past though, where we posted our episode and the numbers were terrible, and here it was because not all the platforms got the upload.
Yeah.
It was like a computer something glitch that happened. So I think it's reasonable to expect that because we are pretty reliable in getting our episodes out. And what we learned last week is sometimes life gets in the way. Huh?
Yes, it does. And if our numbers are ever low, we always will blame others. It is not because of our episode. It's always someone else's fault if our numbers are low. I can tell you that much right now.
That is the new American way to blame others for your own shortcomings.
But no, we just, there's sometimes we have a thing called life that comes up, and we have obligations that you're busy, I'm busy, and sometimes the schedule doesn't mesh. Yeah, we can't get an episode out.
We just couldn't get it together. We were even trying, I recall, at the end of the previous week. So we were well in advance, but we just couldn't get it going.
Nope. And I think we've had this conversation before that we don't want to put, that pressure. If it's not going to work, it's just not going to work. We're not going to bend over backwards and try to put all this stress and anxiety into our lives to try to deal with getting out an episode. So it just didn't work out.
No, it didn't work. And I recall too, we were as late as like prime time on TV to see if we could get it. But you had to be here, I had to be there, and whatever. So I think everyone understands. So
I think so too.
No one's throwing any rocks at us out there, are they, Dan?
No, and I haven't heard from our, main sponsors and donors yet either, so they're fine with
it. Yeah, we run the risk of having our Maseratis repossessed.
Yeah, nobody's called to take back the Maserati yet, so we're fine.
No. Yeah. Well, here we are, though. We're into our third year of the Woodhounds podcast, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in and allowing us to be a part of your day.
Yes, we're back. We're off to, like I said, a fresh new start. Here we go.
Yeah. And our fresh new start here, we don't want to complain about the weather, but everything, it seems, revolves around the weather, especially this time of year.
Oh,
and winter was just not letting its grip go. And it's let it go now, because now we had an 80-degree day. And I went from complaining about how cold I was to complaining about how hot I was in one day, Dan.
I hear you. It's the same up here. It was hot, and then a day later we're like in the 30s, chance of snow, and now we'll probably be hot, and I'll be complaining that it's too hot.
Yeah, the video I had put out where I was running my smaller firewood processor, that was the truth. It snowed like a day and a half earlier.
Yeah.
And this day here is 80 degrees. And I still am just marveling that my roof made it through the wind that came with such a temperature change.
Well, it's good that this weather is hopefully working itself out to, get all the rain, all the cold, all the snow done with before next week. Because next week is the big International Firewood Expo 2025.
Yeah, in Cortland, Ohio, Northeast Ohio, which is famous for its cloud cover and its fickle weather. So, I mean, why not pick a more opportune time to have a massive outdoor get together than in early May
Yeah.
here in the upper right hand corner of our state, just 30 miles inland from Lake Erie. But I looked at the extended forecast, which I'm here to tell you, our forecast for like the next 15 minutes is unreliable. So something that's 2 weeks out. But the one thing that I will give weight to is the estimated temperatures. And they
Oh,
are predicting at least temperatures in the upper 60s and 70s. So that's at least a promising sign.
that is very good to hear. So I should probably bring some shorts then, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
so. Yeah.
yeah. All
if
right.
if we're going to be outside all that time, and we're going to have some indoor facilities too. The commercial building is this massive pole barn kind of a building. It's modern, cement floor, well lit. It has the new addition to the expo this year, flush toilets.
Ooh, yes. Looking
Yeah,
forward to
which
that.
gives you one less task for the expo this year. You don't have to break in our porta john.
Don't you don't have to test the outhouse.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a meeting with the fair people because I have this idea in my head on how the layout is going to go, but then there's also the parking. So the parking, like most fairs, you park in the grass, and depending on the weather, there are three different options on where we're going to park.
Oh,
And yeah, so if it is super dry, we're going to park on the racetrack. If it's going to be a little squishy and kind of high risk to park in the grass, we're going to park on like this side of the fairground. And then if it's super duper wet and a mud hole to park, we're going to park on the other side. So we're going to have like a game day decision on where the parking is going to be. But one of those choices would kind of throw a wrench into my master plan. I want to be able to say that no matter where an exhibitor puts up their booth, that there will be no bad location.
oh,
Like
yeah,
you heard some
yep,
people last year at the Paul Bunyan, they got put up on top of that hill, and a lot of people didn't even know that they were up there.
yeah.
And I want to have it set up so that there are no bad spots, but it all depends on where the parking lot is now, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, that sounds. When do those decisions have to be made?
Probably the day
The day of, the morning
the
of,
day of. Yeah,
hour
serious.
before.
It depends on the weather. If we have a stretch of wet weather, the ground gets saturated and it's just not going to dry up. And then when you think it's dry, and there's a lot of foot traffic, it kicks up all the water, then it kicks up all the mud, and then instead of you going around interviewing people, you're out in the parking lot pushing people out of the mud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not good. So there was one I do want to ask because I don't know if you have this info out there or have you decided when the gates are opening?
So I think just in my head, it would be like 9 to 5.
Okay.
I am purposely coy on all this. And it is just the way I operate. If you've been around me long enough, you know how I operate. But some people I can tell they were they don't understand this flexible booth idea. Like, where's my booth? Oh, it's over there. You know,
Pick a spot.
people were wanting a map with lines and squares and numbers and letters, about who goes where and this and that. And you're just not going to get that from me. And that's this flexibility goes into, like, I think the starting time. I don't know. I thought like 8 a.m. is kind of early because then the people still got to get there, from the hotels and get set up and all. And then 5 o'clock's awful late. What if it's a rainy day, or what if things just peter out early? I'm flexible on all this stuff. I think we will have the gates open though at 9 a.m. And I would say we'll close at 5, but if we run long, we run long. If things, run out of steam, then we'll leave a little bit early. We'll just go with the flow. I mean, that's what went on last year at my own yard.
I'm gonna need to probably, if you're stay there till 5, I'm gonna have to go take a nap then. Man, that's late in my day. I don't know. I might be running out of steam after Friday night.
That is late. And I remember from last year that my legs were ready to fall off of my body. I was so tired. And that was in my little rinky-dink wood yard. When you see the size of our yard here at the fairgrounds, I need rollerblades or a hovercraft,
golf cart.
Yeah, or something. I need something because my legs are now hurting just thinking about it. It is a really big space is not an issue. All the people that were getting signed up, like the people that came last year, they weren't asking. They just know how it goes. But like a lot of the people that don't know who I am, and we are asking them a lot, hey, trust me to drive your trailer with all your stuff across the country, and come to this place, and they don't know what we're getting into. And I'm telling everyone, the size of the booth is not an issue. Space is not an issue. Take as much room as you want. And I don't think they believe me. But they'll find that, but they will find out here pretty quick that I'm serious. Take as much space as you need.
That's nice, because I know usually there is restrictions on space of, your booth or your footprint that you can take up, because generally there's like a map. Everything's like has a grid pattern. Here's this person's spot. Here's your spot. Here's their spot. So that would be kind of nice to just have, like, I don't know, kind of like a relaxed, open setting.
Yes.
To just set up and meander around as you can walk through, see everything, and you're you're not confined to try to.
Thank you for saying that, Dan.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's just the way I operate. And I don't have stuffy rules. My heart is in the right place with this, and I hope everyone else is, follows in the same spirit of this event. People have asked me about where do they buy their tickets, and I say there are no tickets. And I wasn't even going to have an entry fee up until, I bought TV ads. And this is my dilemma. I need to do a video on this here leading up to it. There is this trade-off that at least I see in my head about, I want to get all these manufacturers to come, but that's not good enough. I have to give them a reason to want to come and then to also want to come back. So I got to get the people to turn out. So I've been spending more money than I ever thought I was going to spend on advertisement to get people to come to the expo. And so I bought newspapers. I've been bumping some Facebook ads. Well, then I bought TV ads because we got 3 network stations here in Youngstown. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I can't, because I'm also buying the logs. And I was like, I can't, I'm going to have to charge an entry fee here. So I'm not having tickets. I'm just going to have a guy standing at the gate and give them $5. That's it. And I'm telling the manufacturers, because they're like, well, do you have wristbands for my people? And I was like, no.
Not this year. Nope.
No, I don't. I just tell everyone, just be on the honor system here and just keep in mind that, you got into this cheap. The logs are free. and I'm doing my best to get people to come out. So if you can help me recoup my losses here or my expenses, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't think people would expect to get in for free. I mean, I know everywhere you go nowadays, there's a cost for the ticket or a cover charge. So yeah, $5 to get in. I think that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, and then we're having the raffle, and the raffle is
Yes.
also to help me recoup my losses. And the raffle was a big deal last year. It was a lot of fun. And my wife and her friends and my sister, they are all the ones in charge of administrating that. We have the t-shirts. I bought, I bought $2,000 worth of t-shirts. And that's where I'm just saying, oh gosh, if we have a washed out weekend, I'm going to be stuck with $2,000 in t-shirts, and they all look alike, and half of them don't fit me. So there is a level of risk that I'm I'm taking on here, you know. Um, and then the last thing was I I don't I feel I don't want to get mushy on you here, Dan, or anything, but I feel because of my standing in the firewood community and my YouTube channel and being in a position to put on a show like this where we got over 40, I think we're pushing 50 now manufacturers that are coming. So they like the firewood industry of the world is coming here, you know. I don't want it just to be about dollars and cents. And I had been looking for an organization that I could partner with and to help raise money for, and for a mission that I believe in. And in this case here, it was one that we benefited from when both my parents were, not doing well. So we were going to be partnering with a nonprofit organization where we help raising money for them, and I'll have some explanations for that here coming up in some of the videos that appear on the Ohio Woodburner YouTube channel.
Wow. So you got a lot going on then with this. This is not just a little what started as a little small get together with some friends in your wood yard to celebrate your new wood yard. This is a big deal.
Yeah. And I think too, especially with like the previous years at my own wood yard, it was just about everyone that showed up from the Woodhound community. I really do think that they did not come into this event as if they were shopping at Walmart, where what I mean by that is like they were not standing in judgment of me and of the team and of everything that we were doing. They knew how I had it all put together, and everyone felt like they had a piece of ownership with it. And people were chipping in and helping out. They were emptying the garbage cans. They were moving stuff
Yes.
around
Yep.
and helping. And you inspected the porta johns when they first arrived. Everyone was just chipping in, and I still think that there's going to be an element of that also because there's going to be a lot of people from other parts of the world here, all over the country coming. And, I've assembled a team, but there's only so many of us.
And in a way, like you mentioned before, this is an event strictly for the firewood industry and the fire. I think with that in
Yes.
mind, the firewood community then kind of comes together and, like you just said, kind of takes it on their back as well. Like they look for things they can do to contribute. They help out where they're needed. And I think that's just symbolic of the firewood community. Like this event kind
Yes.
of encapsulates all of that.
Yeah. And I have received a number of very friendly emails, people that are just followers of the channel and they want to help. And they'll say, what can I do? And my reply is, I don't know now, but come see me, and there'll be something that has to get taken care of. So that is the spirit of it. And on top of that, I think that there are going to be a number of attendees that don't have a firewood interest about them. And this is an opportunity for all of us in the firewood community, to embrace these people and show them what's going on. I've sent out communications to like the local universities and their engineering departments, their mechanical engineers, Because what a better example, of mechanical engineering than a firewood machine. Holy cow.
Yeah.
All of the systems, not just, the welding, the frame, the design of the structure, but then you have hydraulics, you have electronics, you got electric over hydraulic, you got computers. Some of them might
Piston
have
pumps.
solar. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
those things.
yes. Jeez.
Yeah.
Crazy
So
stuff.
I've reached out to some of these heritage organizations, with like there's this Finnish museum up the road, um, German, Swedish. So I've been reaching out to them because there's people that maybe they speak that language and they don't get a lot of opportunities. But there will be people from that country here at the expo that they can just come out and say hi to.
Yeah. Yeah, there's people coming from a long ways away on last Friday night. I think it was Peter from Alaska is
From
coming back
Alaska,
down again.
Peter and his wife. Yeah.
Yep, all the way from Alaska down
Yeah.
to Ohio.
Gosh. So when I hear that, that causes me stress. Not
Yeah,
not a yeah,
you gotta
not in a
step up
bad
here.
way. Yeah, not in a bad way, but I mean, I feel an obligation. If someone is putting that level of trust in this this deal, I don't want to
Yeah,
drop the ball. I don't want to drop the ball. I want to make it worth their time. And not just, with like the manufacturers. I mean, charging them a fee for their booth is really small potatoes to them. The expenses for them is hauling all their equipment across the country, you know? And because they got payroll, with the trucks and the fuel and the time away from the shop and then the hotel stays, buying their International Firewood Expo t-shirt.
yeah.
And yeah, so they have expenses on the line here, and I feel an obligation. I want to come through for them.
Well, hopefully everything works out. I know we talked about this. I think maybe it wasn't the last podcast before missing week, but this is just like this is the here and now. This we're building up to, and I think this is like the first strictly firewood trade show,
Yeah,
international show. So
yeah.
it's kind of nice to just I know people
Well,
are
let
probably like,
me.
well, we already talked about this, but hey, we got to pump this thing up.
Yeah, well, guess what? We're going to talk about this some more too. Let me ask you a question, Dan. Is it surprising to you that there is not anywhere else that I'm aware of a firewood only trade show?
Yes.
I was
However,
too.
if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I would have said no, because what's firewood? Like it's like if you think of, oh, okay, a log splitter and an axe and a chainsaw. What other levels are down in the firewood are there? But like you just mentioned, some of the machines nowadays that have been developed and the innovation that's involved and just I don't know, all the, like everything with firewood, it's more than just an axe, a chainsaw, and a log.
Yeah, boy,
Yeah,
it sure is.
I can't. I mean, I would have. Yeah, now I'm very surprised that there's not. There hasn't been a firewood only show.
Yeah, well, there is now.
There is now. That's right.
There is now, man. Yeah, so it is firewood only, but I have let some others in because there are a lot of related items. So we have 4 sawmills coming, and I think there's some like grapple kind of things. I got some bobcats coming,
Ooh,
a lot of hand tools, chainsaws. I'm excited to announce too that Echo Chainsaws has come on board from their headquators.
who?
Echo, Echo,
Who?
Echo.
Echo, echo, echo.
Yeah, man. I'm excited
Wow,
about that. Yeah, Wood Miser Sawmills has come on board, and Logrite, everyone's favorite hand tools, they're coming. I'm excited to
nice.
say. Yeah, it's like I had joked earlier before. It's easier to say who's not coming, and I do believe that to be the case. And I'm not holding anyone accountable because, everyone's got stuff going on. So sometimes just can't go. But the response has just been overwhelming, which was the first source of stress for me in making this move from my wood yard over to the fairgrounds was putting this out and just getting a handful of people coming. And then I think it would look silly, a gigantic facility like we're going to be in with just like the same amount of people that were at my yard last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my big source of stress. And then once the numbers started getting up pretty high, I chilled on that. Then I started worrying about the logs. And now I'm starting to relax a little bit about the logs. And now I'm worried about having enough machines and operators to get stuff unloaded and then loaded back up on Saturday evening. And then of course, the weather.
The weather. Yeah, there's a lot of layers that go into organizing, and like, I mean, I'm sure next week at this time you're going to be a little more stressed showing the signs. And unfortunately for you, I am one of those people that can pick up on that, and then I like to like keep prodding at it, like, if you say you're stressed about something, then I'll like keep reminding you, hey, did you get that done? You got that taken care of? Just because I like to be the little evil person that I
Yeah.
am sometimes. We like seeing you stressed, Joe. It's just something that we have to do.
Yeah. I don't think I'm stressed. I think ignorance is bliss. I don't know.
Oh, you should be.
People, yeah, I still don't know what I'm doing. I think I handled like last year pretty well, but there's blind spots. There's stuff that I haven't even considered. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of those. And I just hope everyone just goes with the flow because that's the way I'm going to handle it too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
oh, I forgot to ask the raffle. You mentioned the raffle.
Yes.
That is on Saturday, right?
Yeah. It's going to
The
be,
drawing.
yeah, the drawing. It'll be Friday and Saturday where you can buy your tickets. We're going to do it just like what we did last year. You get a ticket, it has a number on it, it's your number. And if you like the item, you drop it in the bag in front of it. Yeah, that's
So
how it's done.
you can buy tickets on Friday, but the drawing will not be until Saturday.
Correct. So you can buy tickets all the way up until when we start drawing for them. And we'll find someone to draw names out of the bag. And so I think what we're going to do is you can obviously, claim it right then and there, or you can come back the next day on Sunday while we're cleaning up and pick up your item.
But you need to be there to claim your prize.
Yeah, but everything's flexible in some way. Like last year, I didn't want to do this, but I did. I held on to an item until like it was fall. I held on to it all year long until the guy could get back and get it. But I did it. But you just got to be realistic here. If we got 50 items to be auctioned off, it's gonna after a while, it's just gonna like here, take it.
Yeah. Well, because will you be getting the names and everything of people, or will you? I mean, that's going to be kind of hard to coordinate as well. So just
Well, yeah, they have a system that's better than last year, so that
oh, okay.
the people buying the tickets won't have to write their name and phone number on every single ticket. They're going to have their own system. It'll all make sense. Just do what you're told. That's just how I live my life in my house. As long as I
All right.
follow through with that, everything works out fine, Yeah, but there will be the one drawing. The drawing will probably be around 2:30-ish, I guess, depending on, the pace of the day. And we hope to have a good time with the drawing, man. All the manufacturers have committed to bringing a gift basket. And then we've had some people that have personally donated items, like our good friend Doug from One Eyed Customs has put together a massive
Yeah.
um, prize package. It's worth the price of admission for
Chainsaw,
that. Yeah.
custom bar,
Yep.
all kinds of stuff.
Tools and oils and scabbards and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
and there's more of that to come too, and I'm going to try and keep all of this straight. Uh, the previous year, our friend Frank had donated an item for me to put into the raffle, and then after we got everything, the event was over with. We got everything all packed up and brought back to the house, and we started putting everything away. Our house was a train wreck from all this. There was his item laying on the kitchen table. I forgot to take it. I called him up. I says, Frank, I got to make a confession here. And he's like, oh, that's fine. He goes, just put it on the table for next year. So I got his contribution. We'll put it out there.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Everything. The whole
It
weekend.
is oh gosh, I hope we get some good weather, Dan. Oh my gosh. Because talk about the entire firewood world is coming to one spot. And it is a world where everyone is welcome. Everyone from the biggest professional firewood yard to the smallest Mickey Mouse hobbyist you could find.
And that's where I come in. I will gladly represent that side of the spectrum.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's one other thing too that I realized that's causing me stress.
Oh no. What?
What about the taxes?
Oh, yes. What about them? Ooh, what about the taxes? You better you don't have to worry about that till next year. That we have another year before that.
Yeah.
You got to worry about that.
Oh yeah. Well, we have one more week. So going into this weekend, then it would be the next weekend is the expo, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So hopefully our schedules will allow for us to get another episode in before the expo.
Yeah, because you're going to be traveling.
Yeah, I'm going to be traveling, and so it's going to be a little chaotic. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, so everyone, May 2nd and 3rd, all day long, 9 to 5, huh? In Cortland, Ohio at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds. Be there or be square for the International Firewood Expo 2025.
Yes. Hey, do you know that be square saying, you know what that really means?
What's it mean?
When you say be there or be square, it means that if you're not there, you won't be around.
Interesting.
So you're, square, round. Yeah. So
yeah, I thought it because it just rhymed.
That could be too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we better strike up the band because
strike up the band.
That busy week we had last week, that being that we got an episode in this week does not mean we are not busy as well, because this week is probably almost as busy as last week. It's just, we were able to work this out. So thanks everyone for tuning in and making the Woodhounds the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
Yeah. And please, regardless of the streaming service you listen to the Woodhounds on, give us a 5-star rating. We think it's kind of cool. And it helps. And it helps us out. Yes. We got to make this payment on this Maserati here. All right, Dan. Well, let's do this. Let's tell everyone out there in podcast land to come to
the International Firewood Expo,
because it is not going to
rain.
And while you are dry and enjoying world-class firewood machines, you can have
a great day.